Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, aka the only host who isn't Dolores right now, and this episode we're breaking down episode 5 of Westworld. We're more than halfway through the season, and with just 3 episodes left after this one, there's a lot to unpack. Throughout this video we're going to be breaking down the latest entry and giving our thoughts on what's going on in the show. There will of course be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out episode 5 yet and don't want anything ruined, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do fan theories and breakdowns on the show week by week, and you don't want to miss any of the updates. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Westworld.
Have you ever questioned what she's asking you to do?
Okay, so episode 5 actually reminded me a lot of the Hooded Justice episode of Watchmen. There's a ton of stylistic editing choices, and overall it fills in a lot of details about one of our key characters, that is Serac. The episode opens with Serac as a boy watching the annihilation of Paris. We learn that his brother was there with him, but he's been omitted from history. I'll go into this more as we get into the video, but it's a very important aspect to bear in mind as we discuss their relationship. There is a reason why we didn't see him in the flashback last week, and though Serac knows who he is, I think the creative team behind this show didn't put him in the flashback of episode 4 because, as we learn in this entry, he's been removed from the future, or at least its path, through a certain technique. That is a process called editing. Now, whilst he wasn't literally removed, I do appreciate that the writers behind Westworld did sort of edit him into the flashback this week so that we could retrospectively see why he wasn't there. It's a nice little directorial choice, and there are others here that call back to Westworld in many ways. We see Serac running his hand through Maze at one point, and this is a callback to when Maeve did it. This imagery has appeared throughout the show, and I believe that it symbolises innocence that is soon stripped away. Serac has to do terrible things in order to save the world, much like how Maeve had to save her people, I suppose, so there are a lot of things to take from it. We watch as Serac and his brother build iterations of Rehoboam, which are all named after figures in the Hebrew Bible. As we know, this machine runs an algorithm that can predict the future, and therefore this gives Serac an upper hand when it comes to prophesizing how to control the planet. Serac states that there are things you can't predict, which are flies in the ointment. We learn throughout the entry that Serac's goal is to edit these out from the future to stop chaos from taking over. However, there may be a deeper meaning. This mention of flies could actually be a nod to the flies that have appeared throughout Westworld. With them, they often symbolise a problem or bring forth a new awakening, and Serac trying to remove these could show that he wants to end all notion of free thought and movement. We cut to his watch, which has a direct line to Rehoboam, and this showcases he is always in contact with it. A fly buzzes around the person that he's talking to, but it's quickly swatted away, perhaps once more showcasing that chaotic elements will not be tolerated. This is the president of Brazil, which we learn Serac helped to get elected in exchange for him carrying out certain actions that would keep everything on track. What Serac has done is basically create loops for humanity, similar to what the hosts had, and these keep everyone in line with a prison that they cannot see, touch, taste, or smell, or matrix. Serac clearly has his fingers in all of the pies, whether it's politics, currency, tech or war. He controls it all in order to stop the world from spiraling downwards. He can topple governments in mere minutes should it come down to it, and the man is the most powerful person on the planet. What Serac has accomplished is that he's become the puppeteer of the world stage. He has placed certain members of society in key positions, all of whom he has complete control over, and therefore he is the one pulling the strings. We saw this with Charlotte Hale, who Serac had clearly manipulated into becoming his mole, and it's clear that he rules the world. Now, Rehoboam does something interesting in this episode in that it creates a tunnel at one point which allows it to access certain elements of the past. This sort of gives an inclination of how it works, and it ties in slightly with another TV show called Devs, which I think does operate in a similar manner. It is likely that Rehoboam has taken all data from before the privacy laws in Westworld came into place, and using this it has predicted absolutely everything. In Devs they state that there are no such things as random events, and even things such as coin flips can be predicted should you know the weight of the coin, the speed in which it's flipped, the height of its ascension, and the surface that it lands on. Everything is predictable with the correct data, and what Rehoboam has done is that it has collated all of this, placed it into its system to map out humanity, and therefore it can make highly accurate predictions. We look over them as they go into business with Liam Dempsey Sr., the co-founder of Insight that gave Serac and his brother all of the data on humanity. It initially appears that Rehoboam doesn't work, and he pulls the plug. This is where Serac's brother states that they should kill him, as he will simply get in the way. They view human life as insignificant should it become a hurdle in global security, and similar to how Dempsey Sr. could have done this in the past, Dolores is now doing this in the present. We cut to her, Caleb and Dempsey Jr., and I love how they have him in a t-shirt with basic written on it. Though he has clearly lived a life in which he's regarded as a tech for some reason, it's become crystal clear throughout the season that he isn't, and he's probably one of those people who rings you up to ask how it is that you call people on their iPhone, which is something that's really happened to me. I love you, mother. After kidnapping him, Dolores reminds us that Dempsey has been trying to outbid Serac on Delos, and that the latter isn't happy about it. Dolores wants access to Rehoboam so that they can study Serac and learn his weaknesses. Dempsey uses his glasses to scan Dolores, and he sees that she's a blank slate. However, when he does it to Caleb, there are hints that something far worse is wrong with him. Now, Caleb does talk about putting a gun into his mouth on some beach, and though this is likely a jab at his apparent suicide in the future, it could also be significant to his past. We do know that Caleb was shot in the head at some point when he was in the army, and it is possible that this was at his own hands. Dempsey denies having any involvement with sending him to war, and Caleb asks what he really saw when he looked at him. However, just before we get any answers, he stabs him in the neck with the drug genre, which the episode is named after. This hallucinogen was said to have the ability to take you back to the silent era, and it certainly seems to do that with the screen going black and white. We learn that it's like a movie marathon, and seeing Caleb go through key points in film history really makes this episode a standout. Now, I do believe that Dempsey doesn't have anything to do with the death of Caleb's friend, or the excursion that caused it, as like his t-shirt says, he's basic. After Dolores gets Dempsey back and they jump in a ride, they're tracked instantly by Serac's men, which leads them into a gun battle set to Ride of the Valkyries. This is a callback to Apocalypse Now, in which a helicopter played it through their loudspeakers in order to intimidate the Viet Cong. It's an amazing piece of music, and here the battle plays out to all of the crescendos of the piece. Also, I love the romantic music that starts to blare as Caleb looks at Dolores gunning people down in the street. Westworld has these hilarious moments like this from time to time, and it had me cracking up watching him slowly fall in love with this fembot. They're helped by Ash and Giggles, who we know from the Rico job in episode 1. They actually drop a lot of lines that I had to look up, such as calling Dempsey Tom Canty, which is a character from The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. They also call him Little Lord Fauntleroy, which is a callback to the novel by Francis Hodgson Burnett. They're quite obscure literary references, which could highlight that the two are extremely intelligent. However, they've been placed into positions where they are held back because the system won't allow them to live out their full potential. It is keeping everyone in a cage and allowing them to operate as petty criminals in order to stop them from disrupting the greater whole. So we can take from this that Rehoboam will allow you to do things against the law so that you have a feeling of freedom, but you're still trapped in its cycle. They have a quick catch up, and together as a group they hop on a train. Now this has a lot of subtext to it, and it's the perfect setting for the following explanation. Dolores divulges that Rehoboam has pre-written their futures, and metaphorically they are on train tracks, travelling from one destination to the other, unable to divert or choose a new direction. Dolores shows that she can predict their behaviour, and this is similar to the scene that happened with Maeve, in which she too discovered that she was a slave to a program. It's as unnerving for them as it was for Maeve, and seeing them discover when they'll die and so on comes as a big gut punch. It's a system of false hope that makes humanity suffer, and they are like rats trapped in a bucket waiting to drown. Dolores unleashes this data on a train, and we get a small glimpse of what could happen on a worldwide scale should everything be made public. I loved reading some of the character traits, such as a man being labelled as creepy, but others like characters being removed from the gene pool and the suicide of a child really feel tragic and harrowing. Elsewhere, Canels, aka Dolores, takes Bernard to Rehoboam, explaining how the machine works whilst releasing the data from it, namely the info on Serac's brother. In the past, we see that their machine was able to predict the stock market, and this is likely how Serac became the richest man in the world. Dempsey Sr. is blown away by this, but eventually he becomes too greedy, and so they lock him out. We learn that there was also a major problem in the system. No matter what predictions they ran, the world eventually ended, and this was because of outliers, anomalies within the program that would eventually lead to the world's downfall. Serac's brother, who, I know his surname is Serac as well, it's just easier like this. Anyway, Serac's brother was one of these, and therefore he was edited out, or rather sent to a re-education center. We discover that this is called Inner Journeys, and you may recall this name. This is also where the Man in Black, or rather White, was sent, and it is possible that they will free not only Serac's brother, but also William in the upcoming entries. The data is unleashed onto the whole world, and the group leave the train, showing that they have left the tracks that have kept them in a prison. They ascend upwards, above all those realizing that their reality is a prison. They have been broken free of their loops, and we see firsthand that information is power. Riots begin to happen, and we watch Caleb go on the escalator from episode 1, except this time he has a brand new perspective. A version of Space Oddity by David Bowie beautifully plays out as things descend into chaos, and 2 of Serac's shooters arrive to assassinate Caleb, but he's saved by Dolores. Finally, he realizes that she isn't this real thing, and that she is a machine similar to the very thing that they're fighting. In the past, we discover that Serac experimented on his own brother, who was running scenarios in the system that would lead to the death of Dempsey Sr. In the future, we do learn that Serac did kill Dempsey Sr., perhaps showing that he only ousted his brother so that he could get full control of the machine. In the present, Canells divulges to Bernard about the editing process, and Stubbs shows up and saves him. Now, how he got into the facility, we don't know, but Serac did tell Hale that she wasn't the only person working for him, and it is possible that he has control over Stubbs, and this is how he was able to get entry so easily. We also learn that Bernard is irreplaceable, and therefore it is possible that he is the key to the greater beyond. Serac believes that Dolores is, but it makes much more sense for it to be Bernard, and this is why Dolores was so adamant that he had to be brung out with her. We did see that Bernard's pill was red when Dolores was with Hale, and therefore it is possible that this is infused with the key to the door. Serac's forces arrive, and Canells states that his role is finished just as Martel arrives to escort him away to see Serac. He appears in the room as a hologram without the need for VR glasses, and it is possible that this is the mirror world. Though there is a device that shows his hologram, it is different, so yeah, there is something that could be happening here. If you saw our video on this theory last week, then you'll know we said that we believe that Rehoboam has created a mirror world which runs simulations on all possibilities and outcomes. This would explain how the show has ramped up so quickly, and it would also mean that everything we've watched so far has been in a false reality. Perhaps Serac is just seeing what damage Dolores could cause should he not stop her, as it feels unlikely to me that they would have sent the world to the brink of the apocalypse with 3 episodes and a couple of seasons remaining. I have been wrong several times, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't believe that this is all as it seems. Canells blows himself up, killing Martel and the henchmen. They arrive at the beach to the theme of The Shining, and this is the same pier that Caleb was doomed to kill himself upon in the future. We see a man staring into the ocean, and also a woman jogging along the pier, which could highlight that some are following his footsteps with the crash of their reality. Here they decide what to do with Dempsey. He taunts the group, namely Caleb, with his past, and we see that he carried out interrogations and was likely complicit in inhuman acts. Ash shoots Dempsey to prove that she does have a choice, and she leaves with giggles as Dempsey dies on the beach. Caleb gets more flashbacks, and we see at one point that he himself was in a re-education centre. Dempsey's final words are, "You did it," and it is possible that he perhaps committed an atrocity and was then re-educated and put back into the system as Rehoboam no longer viewed him as a threat. Maybe he is being completely re-engineered, and that is why his mother doesn't recognise him. It's also possible that Rehoboam predicted he was a problem, and therefore instead of dealing with him, they just shipped him off to war where he would be blown up. Therefore, no one would really question his disappearance, and he would still die. However, Caleb survived his fate, and therefore he's returned as an anomaly. This could be what Dempsey Jr. was talking about earlier in the episode when he said he wasn't the one who shipped him off, and it's clear that something deeper is going on here. Whatever the case, his memory has been wiped, and we see Serac in the desert with Dempsey Sr. Good old Dempsey believes that Serac won't kill him because Rehoboam didn't predict he would. However, we all know that Westworld is about breaking free of loops. Serac, similar to Maeve, Dolores, and a lot of the hosts that realised they were on pre-programmed loops, used this information to break free of the system. Serac kills the character, proving that you can still have autonomy, and he makes the death look like a plane crash. In the present, Dolores stands toe-to-toe with a hologram of Serac, and she states she's learned about his brother and that it's time everyone woke up. Caleb and Dolores jump on a plane similar to the one that Serac brought down, and they head to the re-education center to free his brother and likely the man in black. Caleb gets a special delivery, and this may be because he could be the one to take out Dolores when it comes to it. Throughout the episode there were discussions that Caleb shouldn't be too trusting of her, and this ending does set up the two perhaps going head to head down the line. Serac has likely seen every outcome, and he knows that Caleb is a wild card, thus he has sent a man to give him a weapon. Perhaps the thing that Caleb did that Dempsey accused him of is put humanity back in its cage, but I guess we will have to wait and see. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and what you thought of the 5th entry. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please drop a thumbs up and make sure you check out our breakdown of the series so far. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you, you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the Star Wars Skywalker Saga box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you sub with notifications on. The more videos you comment on, the more you have a chance of winning, so make sure you get involved. The winner's going to be chosen at random on the 15th of March, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.